So I think I'm ready. Hold on. I'm not actually ready. I just hit start stream. Hello. Oh wait, my Discord. God, okay, hold on. Let me do my Discord. What did I? No, what is it? What is it called? It was streamer mode. There we go. Okay. God, it's hot. I can feel it in me bones. Hello. Hello, Jackie. How are you? Hello. Hello, VOD watchers. I'm gonna go get my tea. My hair's still wet. I took a quick shower before stream. I'm gonna be right back before we start. Cause I need to fill my water and get my tea. I think that's it. I think, yeah. Cats have been fed. The Ellie has been showered. Yeah. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm ready. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. I should comb my hair. Tea of the day is the same as yesterday.
Beginning scan. Scanning Bridges ID.
Vanilla.
ID.
Vanilla
Clear.
roast chai.
All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
I love chai. I love rose. Must be pretty. No, not the same brew. Okay, we gotta remember how to play.
Sam.
Damn.
Triple check your load out, I take it.
How's the audio? 1 to open tool. Climbing anchor. Ladder, 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 ladder. Got it. Urinate. You. What? 50 ml. Aim and let loose. How to play Death Stranding. Walk. And piss, apparently. Okay. I know tab is to look at... Yep. Watchtower. Yeah, let's go there. Have we not been there before, or is it... It was not? Peak Easton. I want to take a piss. This the way out? Yes. Jeebus. So you're expected to use these. This is horrible for someone like me who can't use items that the game gives you.
Have a pleasant journey.
Sam,
What?
see that sign someone left over there? You
This?
can leave some of your own if you'd like.
A
Messages,
message.
warnings,
Nick
words of
Easton.
encouragement, whatever comes to mind.
Oh, let's give him a lot of likes. Ready? That's my best one yet. Alright, use Watchtower. Eh? Did I like this one already? Oh, there's durabilities for ladders. I guess you have to keep coming back here. Okay, well. Jump to marker. Custom marker. Can I remove that one? Okay. And now what? Oh, daylight's wasting, guys. Okay. That's it. So it's just to look. So we just go straight, right? Just go straight and keep going straight. Okay. Structure menu. Tab. Eh? Repair upgrade material contributor. Metals. Customization slot added, time fall resistance boosted. Oh. What? I'm so confused.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. This game's just gonna be me confused as heck. Are those parcels? Those look like parcels.
Sam, even
Let's
the
yoink
best
'em.
porters have been known to lose their cargo.
Oh.
You're better than the best. You've got what it takes to finish what they started.
I
Come
do.
across any abandoned shipments, consider taking them to their intended destination.
It's easier than you might think. See, all our packages are tagged with Bridges IDs for
Disc-based
easy tracking.
media.
And your Oja deck is equipped with a scanner which might detect set IDs. Which is a roundabout way of saying, but that thing on your shoulder can help you locate mislaid shipments.
Where's the quickest way? I guess here is really narrow. New mouse and keyboard arrived. Ooh, nice. Time to test it out with some repow. Tableware. Jeebus. They just... We're carrying too much. But where are they supposed to go? Like, is it one? No. What is it? How do you look at your stuff? How do you look at cargo? Where are you supposed to go? Way station? West of capital, not city. Who are you? Wait, this is... what? Nick Easton, returnable to blah blah blah. Well, where? Do I take it back here? Or do I have to go here? Hardcore games like Repo, PlayStation West. That's where we need to take that one thing, but what about the other things? What's the destination? I don't know. If that's the case, I might turn around and take it back there. Capital, not city. Yeah, it's just right there. You guys lost your cargo. I'm put it on my back. Don't worry, it's right there. You're okay. Oh god. Oh. Shush. Is that not where I went last time? Oh no, I went over there. Oh. My bad. Jeez. This is a lot easier than carrying a corpse. I wonder if there's gonna be more corpses we have to carry. Oh, look at that. Jeebus. Scan me. Oh, what's this? Wait, I like that. Hold on. This was the thing. I wanna like it. What he said. Oh no, oh no! Well, it's not my most liked.
Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Cargo verified. Thank you. Welcome to Capital, not City. Proceed to distribution center.
Hey guys, I'm back! Whoops. I just really wanted to make a delivery.
Decontaminating suit. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Where is it? Is it here? Is it here? Make delivery.
Good work, Sam. I see you brought in some lost cargo. Feel free
Oh.
to submit it here for processing.
Nice.
If you come across any more while out on a run and don't think you can carry it to its destination, you can always put it in storage.
What?
It'll be safe and secure until another porter comes along to finish the job.
What
Even if
storage?
it has to pass through a dozen more hands before it arrives, you can rest easy knowing you did your part.
I bet Kojima went on a hike and also toured an Amazon facility. Okay. Deliver. Oh, we have 3, yeah. Can I do all? It's still on your back.
You that new guy? Sam Bridges?
Hi, Nick.
Much obliged. Gotta say, I really appreciate you going the extra mile.
Thanks, because I really don't want to go any further. Oh boy, 41 likes. Oh boy. 82. Oh, I have to turn on auto skip again?
Good work, Sam. It seems your
Connection?
level is increasing. As your connection level increases, larger quantities of resources will be made available to you at our facilities.
You'd think I'd have it all unlocked. There's no nepotism in this game. How dare. New interview data acquired. Egyptian mummies, pyramids, etc. The corals of the sea. The cryptobiotes. Huh? Resins and metals. Ooh. Oh, well connected. I got an achievement. I got 123 likes. Hey. Okay.
Hey, I got something for you.
A gift? Oh, okay. Cool. Some swag. Can I like the cap?
All right. Until next time.
How do I put it on? Wait, there's... Oh, is that small thing what I needed to...
Bonus, huh? Wear it with pride. That hat's reserved for Bridges staff who've gone above and beyond.
Why are they talking to me
Head
like
on
I'm a
down to your
newbie?
private room if you want to see how it fits.
Okay! That just means I don't have to go out where it's scary. Next time you can bring 15 ladders with you. Oh boy! 15 ladders! Oh, cutscene already. Oh, he's gonna sleep. Do we sleep each time we come back?
Good morning, Sam.
Do we have more figures? Look at my Okay. T? He's just really proud of his figures. And I kinda adore him for that. Oh, it's not on the table anymore. 3. 2. Yay. Okay. We had 50 ml to pee, right? Let's pee here so we don't have to pee outside. Like an animal. Skip. Okay. Now we can just go, right? Did you just shake your head at me? What? Yeah, I know. I know.
Ascending.
We lost our ponytail. Ah, heck. I thought he'd keep the ponytail with the hat on.
Have a pleasant journey.
I wonder if it's in the, mirror that you can change your hairstyle. He had like a cool animation for it too. Why does he have 2 boots? I really want to know.
Have a pleasant journey.
Thanks, buddy. Alright. We gotta go straight that way. Wait. It's gone. My marker's gone. We gotta put another marker. I think I put a marker. Yep. It's just gone. Alright.
Keep on keeping on.
Is there nobody doing like, here's a route you can take? Our shoes! Is our stamina? Our stamina bar down there has like the shoe symbol. So, is that a stamina bar or is that like the durability of your shoes? And when it's gone, you have to switch shoes. And that's what your extra pair is for. I wonder if crossing the river makes it degrade. A little bit. Our stamina bar is different. Oh.
Always like the quiet.
Yeah, me too, buddy. What? Our stamina's going down. I wonder if the day passes as well. Like, will we have to walk around at night? And is it more dangerous at night?
Sam,
Yes.
a well-placed ladder can get you safely across most rivers, you know. Maybe try using the one we issued you.
Listen, what if I need it later? Uh-oh. Oh, there's my hood.
Remember that prolonged
Whoa.
exposure to timefall damages cargo containers. Remember, Sam, every parcel is a promise made to a person in need,
What is that?
and they're counting on you to deliver.
Why is it red? Is that where the rain is most? What is this? Post box? Eh? Private locker. Do I use it?
Your private locker can be used to store cargo and the like.
Oh. Items you don't immediately need can be stored in a private locker indefinitely. However, if you wish to reclaim them, you'll have to do so from a specific terminal you use to store them. You can check what items you have stored in which location via cufflinks. So am I supposed to put it away so it doesn't get damaged? There's 3% damage already. But it's underneath. Okay. Let's store it. No, but it'll be fine. If you don't feel like carrying something, like all these heckin' ladders that I intend to use one day. It's fine. We just keep on keeping on. Oh god, it's raining heavier than I thought. XL? What? What was that? Hello? No!
You got company.
No, we don't. No, we don't. No company. What does that line mean? How do I do it again? How do I do it again? How do I hold my breath? Oh. What does this mean? Oh, I can... Do I just hide? It's clapping. What do I do? Oh, they're right there. Do I just wait it out? My cargo's gonna be destroyed. What do you mean? Do I go for that cargo? Or my packages? My packages. Do they just go away? It's an XL. I don't think I can. Unless I give up the ladders over there. Okay, they're over there. So we're going this way. What in the heck? Where are we? Oh god, we gotta go up the hill. We should probably check the durability of the packages, huh? Because what if it's like... What if we get there and it's like 1%? They're guarding those packages.
Breathe easy, Sam. You're clear of BG territory. The Death Stranding's to blame for all of this.
They didn't even tell me ahead of time that it was there.
It warped the world beyond
How do I
recognition.
uncrouch?
Humanity had to scramble like rats fleeing a sinking ship. But there's nowhere else to go. There's no future living like this. If we're to survive, we
Is that
need to
it?
find another way. A way to overcome BT.
Sorry.
The Death Stranding, the whole damn mess.
Oh. So we should probably go down, huh? Yeah, go down. Give me some likes, Nick Easton. Oh, that's not as good as before. So how do I use it? Or is this not... Oh. Darn it, Nick Easton, I thought this was something else entirely. Alright. Use ropes to descend. This isn't a rope. So what do I do? One. This thing. Climbing anchor. Use... Right here? Yeah! Alright, now... Oh, I'm using it now. Okay. Down. Keep going down. Go on, Sam Bridges. Oh boy. Keep going. Keep going. It's safe enough, right? Till you're at the end of your rope. That's safe. Yeah. Safe. Look at that. Professional. We used an item.
Okay.
Man, those packages. How do you know what's BT territory? It's not raining anymore. Is it just when it rains?
Sam, remember that prolonged exposure to timefall damages cargo containers. Don't stay out
Yeah.
longer than you have to.
You'd think they'd build more shelters around here. We gotta run. Run, Samuel Bridges. Wait, Sam Porter Bridges. What's a longer? Samuel Porticus Bridgerton. Hey, cargo. Get on me back. Yoink. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa.
God damn it.
God damn it. Alright. You... This looks rather... Can we... Ladder? Adjust? Just... Is anyone gonna like my ladder? If you can take this? Yeah, it'll balance us out. Get on me back. Get on me back. We have to cross one more river. And then it should be... Oh, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Dare we offload some of... Oh, offload one of these ladders? Yeah. Everything should be at the bottom. Right? Wait. We can... Oh. Okay. Cargo. Auto arrange. I can auto... What? Confirm. What? I can carry things on my arms? You know what? Oh, come on! Interesting. Okay. Left, right. Any other loose cargo around here? Right before we get to this next part, which will undoubtedly give us 2 hours worth of cutscenes. This reminds me when I was carrying anti-tank mines in the army. Oh my goodness! Whoop, wrong way.
Beginning scan.
How big are those?
Bridges ID.
This big?
Verifying
Or did you have to carry them on all your limbs too?
Cargo verified. Thank you.
Hey! Make delivery. Deliver. Lost? I can't? Don't tell me I have to carry this big thing all the way back.
Delivering cargo.
This is kind of like armor, isn't it?
We've all been feeling the loss of Central Knot City. No one seemed to know what it meant for the organization, or the UCA, or us. The oxytocin will take the edge off, and that'll be a big help. Won't be long before we're back on track. Let me have a look.
Who's the Oxy for?
This is great. Thank you again.
My
Yeah,
1%
everything looks to be a
durability
good order.
parcel.
And soon our way station will be too, I hope.
Zero? No damage? Nice. You can see when I went back to the thingy. Oh my goodness. Give me more stars. What? Boo! I wish it showed me. I did pick up lost cargo. I wish it showed me where the BT zones are.
You're with the second team, right? Where are the others?
Dead.
Oh.
Caught in the void out.
No way. That one blast got them all? And what, they just sent you out on your own? I mean, if it was just a delivery, that'd be one thing. Porters come through from time to time, but the second team was meant to bring the Cupid. They were gonna connect us up. 3
Yeah, it's
years
me
we've
now.
been waiting for help. 3 years.
Yeah,
And they sent
buddy.
us one guy.
Said stay calm.
Shit.
Stay calm.
Tell me you brought more than the Oxy, at least.
I've got the Cupid.
You... Really? So it's true. I finally got it working. Well, then you just might be the answer to my prayers. So what are you waiting for? You put us on the goddamn grid.
Guys freaking out. Should I be in here? Why does this feel dangerous? Another achievement. Okay. But what does that mean? Thank you for the like me spy. I love you. Okay. Following structure can now be constructed. There's crafting? Postbox. Fabricate equipment. Make delivery, deliver cargo, share locker, donate weapons and equipment. Weapons? Share locker, withdraw cargo. What? What's that? Are those the bridges that I made? It is now connected to the chiral network, enabling you to see and access other players' structures. Other players!
Connection to Capital Knot City confirmed. It's really happening. Just like Amelie promised. We can finally do what we came here to do. Hey, you're headed west, right? Gonna be a lot of people happy to see you. I guess you'll keep on till you hit the coast, huh? Which means you'll get to see Amelie in person.
Oh boy.
That's something. That is really something. Me, I've never met her. Only seen her holo messages back when I was with the first expedition. Well, anyway, you best be careful on the road. There's some bad people out there. More than good, some say. But I don't need to tell you that.
Thank you, Sam. By bringing that way station into the chiral network, you've put it in direct contact with those of us back here in Capital Knot City.
Right. What's next?
West of the way station are a couple of structures our previous expedition put in place. And beyond them is your next destination, Port Knot City. It's on the shore of a crater lake that formed after the first void out. Your objective is to link up Port and Capital Knot. But to do that, you'll need to utilize our facilities as additional waypoints. They'll be essential for establishing a
All
stable
these knot
connection.
cities.
Given the distance we need to cover, we're looking at using a distribution center and a power station, as to which you should head for first. Start with the distro center. We've got some cargo that needs delivering anyway.
Distribution center west of West
Check the nearby delivery terminal to pick it up.
Good work.
How do I get rid of this?
Please access delivery terminal for further information.
Your hard work's paying off, Sam. Thanks to the increase in network capacity, HQ is now in a position to provide you with additional materials and support. Should prove useful.
Alright, combing my hair. Weapons and equipment can be fabricated using materials provided by facilities. The amount of materials available at a given facility will differ depending on the facility type. Okay. Orders. Quick orders. Six items! What's this? Build a post box at the designated construction site. Yeah, sure. What do these mean? Risks. Oh, is it like a E? No. It's like right here, but I don't see it. Oh. Oh! How do I do this? How do I look here?
You'll be delivering supplies for a Cairo printer. The distro center you're going to has one. First expedition set it up. On its own, it's no different from your run-of-the-mill.
We can just follow the river, it seems.
Connected, though, it can utilize Cairo network data to reproduce all kinds of things. And you can imagine how handy that might be. Now, I know I don't need to tell you, but steer clear of any BTs you find out there. Avoid out's the last thing we need.
Okay, but like,
It's Hartman.
where are the BT?
Voidouts occur when the living of our world come into contact with beached things. The reaction is similar to what a physicist would call
Beached
an
things?
annihilation, when a subatomic particle collides with its antiparticle. Alas, there ends our understanding. Why do the dead transform into BTs? Why are voidouts only triggered by human contact? And why are people like you able to return seemingly unscathed? No one knows. Yet it cannot be a coincidence that these
No one
phenomena were
knows.
observed only after we discovered the beach and bridged this world and the next. Anyway, to reiterate, the only reliable means by which you can prevent a void out is to stay far, far away from BTs.
Got it. So, it looks like constructing a post box is the opposite direction of where we want to go, and I kind of don't want to pick up 532 whatever of that. So we're gonna do this first, and then I'll come back here and pick up. And what? This one. This one. No, I don't want to camp. No! I want to do this. Select. Accept word.
To build a post box, you'll need to use a PCC. It goes without saying, but if you're not already carrying a PCC, you'll want to fabricate one.
Okay.
Sam, you can use that
Tutorials.
PCC to build a post box.
Uh-huh. PCCs can be used to build structures, but be aware that doing so will use up some of the chiral bandwidth available to you. Structures can be shared with other players once built. New structures cannot be built within the same area around an existing facility marked with sensor poles. Okay. Post boxes can be used to return lost cargo or entrust cargo for delivery by others. The share locker function can be used to exchange weapons and equipment with other players. The private locker function can be used to temporarily store personal cargo and equipment. Okay. Do I have to build it over there? Do I not have enough? I don't have enough. Oh, I do have enough. This UI. I don't have brain power for this UI. Alright, now it's on. Uh-huh. It's gonna be on my back. Yeah, right there. God, this hacking UI. Where do I drop off this big thing on my back?
Order assigned. Sam, assuming you've got your PCC in order, head to the site I designated and build that post box, would you? You should have no trouble finding it if you check your map and compass from time to time.
Okay, wait. But can I deliver this? Now I can. Aha. Don't do anything. What? If lost cargo is taken to a facility other than its intended destination, the following options can be selected. Oh, this is not the intended destination. Got it. Do not do not submit the cargo, keeping it in your person in order to deliver it yourself. Okay, where is this intended? Heckin' heck. Why did I pick this up? Do we want to go all the way back there? After we nearly died? You know what? I'll store it. We'll build the thing and then we'll store it there. Let me out. Oh, it's this way. Alright, where does he want me to go? I keep pressing M for the map. So go back down the hill. I pressed M again. What the hell? Materials. Way station west. That's something we can. That's something we can deliver here. We'll get it on the way back. Stop. Do we have to cross the river? Whoa, buddy. Chill. We do. Can we like our own ladder? The actual reward for delivering is more materials. I can't like my own bridge. My own ladder. You wick until 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 you die.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Ah. Why do I feel like he's... Why does it feel like he has the tism? No! You're joking. Is it wherever it's raining? Is the BT territory wherever it rains? I don't want to leave this there then.
Sam.
What?
I see you've arrived at the designated site. Good. When you're ready to proceed, activate your PCC. Use it to build a post box within the area I specified.
I'm gonna build it as close to here as possible. Yeah, yeet. Okay, I changed my mind. It's raining here. I don't want to leave the cargo here. Only 40 likes? You're joking. Is auto skip on? It wasn't. It turned off.
Good work, Sam. That's a fine looking post box. If you access it and select Share Locker, you can share cargo and equipment with your fellow porters. Deposit a ladder and a climbing anchor, and I'm sure someone will eventually come along who could use it. If you've got enough supplies, why not leave some behind? Do right by others, they'll do right by you.
But it's such an inconvenient location. Who's gonna go all the way there for a ladder? My materials are degrading. On my back. Oh god! You got this. So, how is your day? You might be cucumbered. Uh-huh. In the rain, too. We're gonna force it. You know what? Actually, to heck with this big thing. On back. This one? This one. Offload. Goodbye! That's all. Yeah, wait, can we carry this? No. Put it down. Let's just go. That can be someone else's problem. Ooh. Does that mean that it's steep or heavy? Wait, what? Resins you pick up are also gonna be on your back. Oh boy. I misread that as raisins. I would not pick it up if it was raisins. Is that cargo in the water? Bruh. So, we should make another.
Goddamn cottonmouth.
Drink to restore. You're good. You're fine. What's cottonmouth? Fellow raisin hater, yes, it's one of the one of the things that makes us twinsies. Don't worry. What did I say his name was? Samuel Porticus? Bridgerton. Making his name longer than necessary. Whoa! Hey.
Scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. All weapons will remain locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
Yay! F. Oh, hold F. Can I deliver these? Nope. That's not what I wanted to do. Why did it make me
Share
click that?
lockers to exchange cargo with other porters.
No, thank you. Delivery, lost cargo. Get rid of all of this. Do I have to click it? Ah! Don't do anything. I don't want to. Wait, what? What cargo do I have?
Delivering cargo.
Oh, he actually slides like 3 things in.
I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, buddy.
Gotta say, you truly are incredible.
I feel infantilized every time they praise me. No! I don't want to entrust the cargo to someone else. New title earned. People think of you as a porter who can be relied upon for basic orders, but with time and effort, you may one day be recognized as a true legend. I thought he was the best of the best. Miscellaneous grade 10. You will now receive more likes. Oh boy! That's what I do it for.
All right then. Thanks for everything.
Okay, bye.
Good work. New order available. Please access delivery
What?
terminal for further information.
What stuff do I have? The resins. What do I do with this? I'll recycle them. Hey, how do I recycle this? What? What? I don't think I need this. Wait.
Looks like some cargo has been transported to its destination on your behalf.
Oh,
You can access the share locker to collect it.
what? Nick Easton? Nick Easton? Should I take these back? Whoa. Other players. Whoa. Can I do this one? You guys want some resins? I don't want it. Oh wait, can't. How do I give it to them? Cargo for Sam. None. Carried on back. How do I do? Offload. You guys can have it. What? Are these? Should I deliver these? It was kind of scary, but I feel like we can. There's already damage too. Let's do it. On my back. Take it all. Yeah, let's go. Oops, confirm. Oh, it was that. This one. Donate this. Go ahead. You guys can have that resin. Don't care. Reclaim any cargo you placed in share lockers. Yeah. I got an achievement. A giver of gifts. Take on orders. Huh? And trust. No. No. I'll do that later. Goodbye. My poor shoes.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Should I go back for that barrel? I just remembered we have to go through that area. Or do we? Maybe we can avoid it entirely. No one's like my ladder. Here's my other ladder. Whoa. Nintendo left a ladder. Don't do that. I'll take your ladder. Put it on my back. Yeah. They probably saw my ladder and they were like, you know what, this is such a great placement. You can have mine. How do we go? How do we go back? Because I don't trust going this way. Where's the likes though? Give me my likes. Is that mine? There's like bridges and ropes everywhere. Do we take the ladder or do we take the rope? I feel like the ladder would be easier. Come on, buddy.
Goddamn cottonmouth.
Oh, God. You know what? Can we climb? Y'all are crazy. Bro.
Thanks for the help.
How do I, I just climb it all the way to the top. Capital, not city. I'll take that too. I'm on my way there. Did no one think to build a thing this way? There's a ladder down there. Maybe. I don't know. I think we're... All of these are for... Oh boy. Is there a way down? There's no way down. We're just gonna go this way. Because this is the way we came. Even though it's surrounded by ETs. Capital Knot City XL. What if we just stay here? You know? What if all we did was... Oh no. Incoming bad vibes. Isn't that where they were? Nah. Nah, we're good. We'll risk the hill. What was the button to move slowly? Control to walk, I think. Oh, right! Okay, well I don't need to move slowly now that I'm on the ground. Does that mean BT territory? I don't get it. Watching me sprint down a hill. Listen. It's all good. We'll remember for next time. I didn't even realize. I totally forgot that you could walk slow. My brain was like, that's for when scary things are around. You're fine. So it would seem that even materials are affected by the timefall?
Always like the quiet.
Yeah, me too. Except for our rain clothes? So then why don't they just make the parcels? I guess they're not gonna waste those materials on silverware and CDUs. Nice bridge that leads to nowhere. Hey guys, I'm back. Totally didn't do what y'all asked me to do. Should we go take a sleep?
How you doing, Sam?
Aw, he talks to himself. Oh, I lost the cargo. Whatever. It wasn't mine to begin with. Why am I responsible for it?
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying
Let
ID.
me in!
Welcome to
Let
Capital
me
Knot
in!
City. Proceed to distribution center.
You're now eligible for delivery by others. What? Cargo that you find along the way, it's loose, may sometimes be delivered to a share locker near its intended destination by other players. Okay.
Decontaminating suit. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Sam Porter Bridges. F. This is horrible for my little loot goblin self because I want to pick up everything, which means I have to deliver everything. And then I won't be able to get anything done. Interest? Store ladder. I don't want to store that. Maybe that pile of loot at the Illicilla remains. I want to make... Oh.
Thanks for the delivery. Gotta say, I really appreciate you going the extra mile.
I want to make the rope thing. Those are really useful when you're wanting to go down. I don't know about going with... I don't know about the ladder going down. Wow, look at all that. Auto. My ladder that I picked up? Yay. Whatever that means.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care.
Good work.
Do I craft here? Yeah, fabricate. Oh, I have one. Have one. And I have 2 ladders? Two ladders, 1 anchor. Auto arrange. Whoa. I don't like this arrangement. I kind of... Okay. You know... I would also have a very hard time just walking past them and be like, yeah! The boots that... Oh, these are the ones I'm wearing. What are these? Oh, they don't take damage. But everything else on my back takes damage. Okay. How do I fix that? Oh no, my shoes! I took off my shoes. You wanna take a nap?
Yeah.
You wanna take a nap? Sam Porter Bridges?
Your
Take a
work is
nap.
greatly appreciated.
I wonder if... Aww. If taking a shower helps. My shoes just stay broken, I guess.
Good morning, Sam.
Oh, those pants look uncomfortable. Go take a shower. Skip! Oh! I skipped! What do you mean? I can skip again. Bruh. Okay. Equipment? Where'd all our fancy suits go? I can't do anything. I want to fix the shoes. Wow. Pink? Darn. Well. Our suits are gone. They robbing me. Okay. How do we know his do you need to like do you need to use a restroom? Yep. Okay. I don't want to take a photo. Okay. I think we're good to go. Shall we? Okay, take a dookie. This counts for both, right? Now you can do both, right? When you sit. What are you saying no to? We're leaving. Wait, do I have to put his hat back on? Flashback time? Heckin' baby.
This is what the world looked like hundreds of millions of years ago. There's just one big country.
Gondwana.
And do you know what this is? The moon.
Hi, Mads.
I'll show you the real thing soon. I promise. The whole wide world will be yours to explore. You'll be able to go wherever you want. Even the moon.
Okay, Dad.
Ascending.
We don't have a hat. Do we go back for the hat? Do we keep the ponytail look? I feel like he's gonna go back to sleep.
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey.
What do we do about the shoes? Can we fabricate shoes? That wasn't in the list, was it? We gotta go. Today's a ponytail day, you're right. 100%. I'm worried about the shoes.
Have a pleasant journey.
So they're trying to say that Amelie is now
Weapons restrictions lifted.
the president, but she's being held somewhere else by a group called the Homo Demons. I'm trying to remember the plot right now. What the? What a name. Okay. And then they want us to connect the cities because that was her vision for the future. It's still unclear whether Amelie is our sister or someone else. There was a photograph, but What? There was a photograph that the face of the pregnant lady was like blotched out because of the rain. I assume that that's Amelie. What does this mean? Oh, thanks, Nick Easton. Oh, no. What? What am I missing? So, the mom kind of also looks like Amelie. Maybe that means that Amelie is our sister. They're way up. This is BT territory. That's where we got attacked. We could find this. Climb up that way. Nope, ignoring all those. Yep, not looking at those. Who knows if you're even related? Yeah. Because he seemed not to remember his mother. Oh. Let's take the F. Oh boy, thanks for that so much. That was amazing. Oh, and I just ruined it for everybody else. Yeah, I'll give you like.
This one's for you. Thanks for the help.
Okay. Hi, man. Right, I was thinking we were gaslighting him, but like, who knows? There was a ladder there. I don't want to deliver these. Hello. Are you taking lunch? I will eat after stream. Where's my... Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Miswa. What we hauling today? I gave up on one thing. I don't know what this is, Nick Easton. What is this supposed to be? I'll still give you likes. Just cause you're cool like that. Man. Wait. Laura. This was mine! I accidentally dismantled it. I'm so sorry. No! I don't want to use the one that I have. I thought it meant that I could, like... Graving. That's all I meant to do. I was trying to, like, get the rope, you know? I didn't think it would mean that you would, like, pick it up. Woo! Careful, careful. Oh, right. Control. Control. What the? Actually forgot my soup at home today. No! no! Miso soupless. No! Well, now you have to go somewhere that serves soup to make up for it. Get yourself some good soup. It looks cold in the game. I feel like I should be playing this around autumn. Because it looks cold, but it's hot as heck. IRL. I want clam chowder. No! Why did you have to say it? No! No, it's in... Then... Fled. Sir! You can't run away from me! Ah! Let me get on. Let me get on. Spinach soup is top tier. You're gonna have to share some recipes, Jaku. I also love clam chowder. There's a mushroom soup that Ben makes that I like too. I haven't had it in a while though. Smoked reindeer. I feel like you've talked about that before, but I don't remember it. Okay, we're here. There's a lot of Filipino soups that are really good, but I don't consider them
How you doing, Sam?
as well. I do, but like
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges.
it's
ID.
not like
Verifying
soup where you
ID.
just
Clear.
eat
All
it,
weapons
like
will
you
remain
just
locked
slurp it,
until departure.
right?
All clear.
Like chicken noodle
Welcome,
soup.
Sam Porter
The
Bridges.
Filipino soups I'm used to, you eat it with rice, so it feels like regular food. Hey, I'm here for my mission. Yeah. Got it. What do I need? Do I need... what? Why am I having less and less? Do I need this? Accept orders. Why doesn't it want me to fabricate equipment? Yes, just one. And one. Why not? Give it to me. Load all. Yeah! Load it all on my back. Yep. Yep. Just like that. Yep. Confirm. I don't know any recipes, I just buy them frozen. Oh. There's a place near me that has soup, but it's not consistent. Like, they have different soups every day. But whenever they have the, where am I going? The clam chowder, I go feral. What's this? What's that supposed to be? Maybe we can cross here again and then go down, right? Right. Right. Because at least we know this way is kind of safe.
Restrictions lifted.
I really want to make gumbo. I think I'll try it next month. I made stew. yesterday. Why are we talking about food, guys? I'm gonna get hungry. I can't eat until after stream. Ah! Woo! Y'all better like my ladder. I don't know what it is, but it's not machado, but it has beef, cabbage, red bell pepper, tomatoes, potatoes, onions, and garlic. What's that? I don't want to go up too high. We seem to just need to follow the river. What?
Come on. Keep it.
Keep it together. Why are you crouching now? I love all soups. Soups are so good. It's almost soup season, but I'm having it now. I miss when canned soups used to be $1 or less. Hot soups in 1. Yeah, I was so mad. What's that? Do I need to pee? Onto a rock. Yep, right here. Do your business. Oh. Prepare. What do I do? What? How do you pee? Aim, let loose. Oh god. Okay. No. What is this? You can like it? What does 1000 ml mean? Is that just my thirst? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with him? No, that's his health. That's because it's dangerous. Is this a danger zone? Are we going into the heart of a danger zone? It's showing me my HP. Just to be like, this is what you could lose. Smile.
Heads up, Sam. Your cargo's been pinged. Move. Now, before someone has eyes on you. Get to your destination ASAP if you don't want to get caught.
What does that mean? Is it baddies? There's no other way. Do we go up the hill and then down? The long way around? Heckin' heck. Are there pirates? What is that? They couldn't have warned me about this, like, before I got here. Hey, by the way, there's people who can ping your cargo and probably come after you. The rain. Oh, so it's either pirates or BTs. Which would you rather face? Neither. I would rather go home and make more figures. Sam Porter Bridges is just a little guy. What do you mean? Did I get scammed again? These shark hugs. Aw. Action is coming. Better not. Better not be coming. Okay, we're out of it. And now we have to go. We'll skirt around it. Oh, that looks scary. And we're going right towards it. These guys are making me go through BT territory. What am I more scared of? Actually, we've nearly died to BTs before. What if we die to pirates this time? We were over there. A rainbow. Isn't that bad? Isn't the rainbow bad? How are we gonna get down? Oh, check Discord. Okay. You know, at least there's no BTs. Are we past the thing yet? No. Oh wait, there's a ladder right there. Someone else did this too. Can we go this way? A little bit more. What are these? These graves? Bruh. Spooky. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. How do we not go up? Are we past it yet? Almost. What? No.
This gave you trouble, huh? Good thing it was raining. Even they know better than to mess with BTs.
So I could have just crossed? You mean? The ladder's right there. Let's make our own ladder. Does that look safe? Yeah, that looks safe. Whatever. Down we go. Whoops. Straight off the cliff.
That's quite a drop.
Uh-huh, it is quite a drop. So we should... Can I dismantle the ladder and put it back? I can't. What? I could have just used the rope. You know what? We're doing the rope this time. The rope was the better choice. Okay, so... Oh shoot. Okay, we walk. Stop sprinting, Ellie. Yeah, I'm not making ladders anymore. Ladders are good for, like, rivers and stuff, but... Oh, I guess the ladder's for going uphill, too. Was I supposed to encounter mules, then? And I took the long way? Mule. Mules, bad guys. Got it. Scale the side of this cliff. Oh, we're using up a lot of stamina, though. Okay, maybe we shouldn't be scaling the top of this cliff. Alright, let's turn around, go into mule territory. Oh! My bad! dropped something. Hush, little baby. I'm running again. How do I... G plus 2? F. Calm down. Shake the baby. Shake the baby. Shake the baby. Calm down. Oh my god. Calm down! Oh, you do have to shake the baby! Calm down. Calm down. You're fine. You're okay. You're okay. How do you know if it's okay now? Oh, okay. Three to return. I don't like these buttons. How do I get out? How do I get out? Oh, there we go. That looks steep. How did I get up here? Huh? What is that? Dare we use another ladder? Our last ladder. What is this? Okay. You really picked the hardest route possible. I did, didn't I? Hey. It's fine. It's okay. That doesn't look safe at all. Let's use nothing. We go back the way we came. How did we get here? You're fine. You're okay. You're okay. Just go carefully. There we go. Okay, wait, stop sprinting! What is this? Stop sprinting! Do I have to hold it? Okay, now we're walking. He's sprinting again. I need those little cryptobiotes. We're almost through. Destroyed. I don't feel like we were supposed to be on the other side. You know what? This is fine. Disconnected. But then right here, back online. I want a Jippus. What? Did I not need to carry that? Bruh. is this? Was I supposed to go there? No. What is this? What did I pick up? It's destroyed. You can stay right there, buddy. I'm not carrying you. You're not my responsibilities. What are those? It looks like a death marker. I should approach. Just... Never mind! I'm scared. Okay, we can run. Ah! What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't want to feel that. What do you mean? What? Oh, it's a sign from other players? Heckin' heck! Shelter from Timefall here. Are they suggesting we cross the river? We went this way so we wouldn't have to... You know what? I will keep going the long way. I don't care. What do you mean? Why is it waving? Oh. Hey, this is what we saved our ladder for, probably. Nope, 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 nope. You know what? Is there another way? I'm gonna be so mad if we cross the river. If we cross the river and it's like still dangerous on that side. Okay, it kind of like waves like a hand. All of this is dangerous. Can I put it here? My ladder is like decaying. I may as well use it. So, the This is so complicated. Ah! The damage! So much damage, guys! Whoa, whoa, whoa. No! No, it's here too! Okay, I'm gonna go find that rail blah, 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 there. Why does it feel like I have to go down anyway? Should I just go? Should I just go? Is it darker here? Is it worse here? Have I been running around? Or what? Saying my cargo's in shambles. I can't wait. Whoa. Look at these cars. Whoa. You're okay. You're okay. It's like waving. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? It's so far! Should we take shelter? Do you think the rain stops? I don't know if it stops. My cargo's gonna go bad. Maybe. But then also my shoes are falling apart.
That was close.
Shelter from the storm. Oh. There's like a thing, right? To
Not a moment too soon.
look at our stuff. It's like, can we sleep? Take a nap. Sam Porter Bridges. Wow. How long do we let him sleep for? Oh, he recovers health too. DB gave you a thumbs up? His butt's not even touching the ground. This doesn't look very comfortable. So, I don't think the rain stops. I don't think the rain stops. I think it keeps going. We might fail this quest. One minute and 2 seconds of sleep. What happened? What is this? What is that? What? Okay, so there's no way to wait out the rain, and our cargo is about to deteriorate, so we might not make it. Could have just gone straight. Suffer through it? Suffer through it? Yeah? Okay. Let's go. Let's take the long way around. Shelter from the rain, my butt. It doesn't even end. There is no shelter. You have to go through it. Either way.
Sam, looks like one of your containers is compromised.
No!
No need to panic. So long as you don't drop it, the contents shouldn't sustain any damage.
Okay, so don't drop it.
The cargo itself is okay, and your eval won't be affected. Just take a little extra care from here on out, and you'll be fine. Good luck.
Crouch. So I can't just stand still. I can't go that way. So many freaking rocks. What do you mean? Where am I supposed to go? It keeps clapping. They're everywhere. Guys. Flies. Will these little guys protect me? Ah! Are they here too? They're not over here. Why are you lying to me? Oh, they are over here. How do you do this? Guys, protect me. We're just gonna go. We're just gonna run. We're just gonna run. We're just gonna run. Take a breath. Okay. Is it when it's orange? Okay, okay, baby, calm down. Where do we go? Oh, they're coming for me. What do you mean? How did you do it last time? I have no idea. I sprinted in whatever direction it allowed me to. Get away from me! This is it. Okay. I have no idea. Did the baby stress the heck out? It's not working anymore.
Something wrong, Sam?
I don't know. Kid doesn't look so hot.
Nothing to worry about. Its functions are temporarily suspended, but they can be restored.
What do you
I can
mean?
perform the necessary maintenance at a distribution center. Hurry though.
We're right in the middle of it. Auto. Okay, well. Did we use...
When the strain on your BB exceeds sustainable levels, it triggers the production of harmful compounds, and the body, in essence, begins to attack itself. It's called
Hacking loser.
autotoxemia. If your BB's not performing to spec, drop by your private room and see if the incubator helps.
Hacking loser. Stupid baby. We need to have more hallucinations of Mads. Can't see the baking tomatoes anymore. The what? Yoink. May as well. Do I know what they're for? Nope. Oh. The BTs, that's what you mean. I get it now. I get it now. Can we carefully cross this? We have no more ladders, huh? Because we wasted it. Oh no, no, no. Okay. So there was no long way around. Shoot, 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 shoot. There was no long way around. It was gonna be the same either way. We took our sweet time for nothing. So does the baby stay a baby?
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. All weapons will remain locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
That would have been so bad if, like, right at the end we slipped and it all broke.
Decontaminating suit. Rest is advised.
Yeah, we need a rest. I need a new pair of shoes too. Make delivery. Banana peel. No!
all about you. Sam Bridges, with the second
Sam
expedition.
Porter Bridges.
The guy expanding the chiral network on his lonesome. When he's not out making deliveries. So what'd you bring us? Let's see it. Talk about above and beyond. Thanks.
No comment on how broken it was.
Through BT territory to get here too.
I wish it showed that it's BT territory.
Joking when they said you were a legend.
It shows mule territory, but not BT territory. I think one's just as bad as the other. Oh, it's all damaged. Average cargo damage. Got it. Ooh, that's a lot of likes. When did we get to level 22? I swear we were 11 just now. %, best rank? I'm just that good.
Okay, it's time. Do you mind connecting us to the network?
Were there checkpoints that I had to go through? Or is this a checkpoint? And there are invisible ghosts that you're still into other people. Yeah. I have to go back to my room to fix BB? Wait, did I skip the checkpoints then?
Sam, as always, thanks for bringing more folks into the UCA.
As more facilities join the UCA, Bridges HQ will be able to provide additional functionality to those facilities, such as the ability to fabricate equipment and weapons via the delivery terminal. The range of available weapons and equipment may increase, and new terminal functions and information may be added as things progress. Mules and drone syndrome. Bridge babies. Interview data. We should watch the interview data on bridge babies. Mail? Mail data recycle. Yes, I need that. Whoa! Okay, so now we know. Don't piss.
Looks like we're on the chiral network. And with those materials you brought for our chiral printer, we can produce supplies for you here as needed. Think of it as our way of returning the favor. Now head west and keep on doing what you do.
Eat souls and
Good. The distro center is on the
cause
network.
explosions. Craters.
Sass, do me a favor. Take your BB to a private room and connect it to the incubator.
Are there private rooms here too? I don't have to go all the way back. Let's go. What am I carrying? There's a con in.
Dead man, you there? Little help?
Okay, Sam. Remove the pod and connect it to that incubator.
It's in.
Good. A temporary excessive stress. Easily addressed if we
If
return
you
it to
relax,
its mother's
Sam, I
womb.
wanna go into an incubator.
Mother?
Located in the capital Knot City ICU. Brain dead, of course.
Huh?
You mean still mother?
Correct. A steel mother's womb facilitates a connection between the world of the dead and the BB. And you, in turn, connect yourself to a BB, granting you the ability to sense BTs. These pods were designed to simulate the conditions inside a still mother's womb. BBs need to believe they're in one at all times to function properly. However, we can only maintain this deception for so long, which is why we must periodically update the environmental data by synchronizing it with a still mother via the chiral network. There. The update is in progress. Right now, the pod is synchronizing with the still mother in Capital Knot City and reconfiguring its settings based on the latest data.
What?
Returning your BB to the womb in this manner will temporarily reduce its stress levels. That being where it technically belongs, of course.
Kid looks happy.
I'll try adjusting the oxytocin dosage. Autotoxemia should set in much slower from now on.
I don't get it.
You should remember that BBs are just equipment. Try not to get attached. Each one has been physically removed from its still mother's womb. A process that renders them unpredictable and prone to failure. No BB on record has remained in service for over a year. It may need to be retired before this expedition is over.
Okay.
And then? You saying there's no way to keep my BB alive?
You must understand.
My
There's still
BB.
a great deal we don't know about BBs. As we expand the chiral network and recover more past data, perhaps we'll find our answers. Oh, right. You asked me to look into why the BTs might be reacting to your blood. I spoke with Hartman. We should have your results soon. Anyway, get some rest. You and your BB are both exhausted.
Yeah, me too after that ordeal.
Good night, Sam.
Good night. I feel like I need a refresher. Oh, why? So are they like real babies? Oh God.
Falling down. London Bridge is falling down. My fair lady.
Stop being creepy, Amelie.
Sam? Can you see me?
How are things over there?
Still not under guard. Still not chained up. Still can't leave. But if you can keep making connections, if you can get to me, we can go back east. Back home.
But I like the West.
Thank you. I mean that. It's bad. There are fewer and fewer people in the cities these days. No one's having children anymore. But
why
humans
would
aren't
they?
made for living alone. They're supposed to come together, to help one another. And if we as a people can't do that, if we can't reconnect, then, well, it's like Bridget said, extinction.
There's a lesson to be learned here, but...
Rebuilding America isn't gonna get rid of the BTs. As long as they're still around, there's no escaping it.
But at least we'll have hope.
Please. When did I get so cynical, guys? When did this happen?
Waiting for you.
I don't trust her. Have hope, Ellie. These guys are gaslighting him, I swear.
This is Hardman. Since you're awake, it might behoove you to freshen up.
Behoove you?
To that end, why not take a shower?
Okay.
It's good for the body and soul, and also my research as it happens.
Stop winking at me. So guys, I took a quick shower before stream. I can't skip.
Sam,
There's no skip. Oh, because it's a cutscene.
Deadman relayed your request to me, and I oversee BT research. I'll be taking a sample of your shower water in order to study the effects your bodily fluids might have on a BT.
Wow.
Study other people with dooms?
Everyone in Bridges, myself and Mana. Results thus far are...
Pointer bath water. Shower water.
But you possess other singular qualities, being a repatriate as well. I must confess
Collecting.
to a
Oh my god!
optimism. Processing fluids. Waste products. Dry dispensing.
There. Take the
What?
sample with you. Should the opportunity arise, try using it on a BT. I'm curious to see how they react.
Okay, just
Who knows?
throw my bath
May
water
even
at
prove
them?
beneficial to you. There was an old research paper detailing the effects of bodily fluids from individuals like us on BTs. It is only by recovering these materials that we can unearth the knowledge of the past.
We'll have to confront them.
Not just the Death Stranding, but also the mystery of your body's unique properties and even our doom's affliction. There may well be hope for humanity. Sam, I have no interest in rebuilding America. I want to recover the past. Oh, it's almost time.
After you make your connections and nothing happens, then what? I said, then what?
Bruh. You sure are risking a lot.
Sam, sorry to bother you while you're taking a break, but I
Grenade?
figured you'd want to hear this.
Grenades?
No, maybe it'll help you rest easier. We received a number of messages addressed to you. I've not taken a look myself, but I
So they
gather
read
they're
our mail
mostly from
too.
your clients. You should see if they contain any useful information. Mail can be accessed via your cufflinks, as well as the terminal in your private room.
I feel like I'm
There's
still in
something
the
else I'd like to share with you.
tutorial.
With the Chiral network, we now have the power to reclaim our past.
Uh-huh.
Data once thought lost forever from every corner of America can be pieced back together from fragmented records. Our archives are still a work in progress, of course. But as we expand the network and integrate more way stations and cities, we'll be able to recover more and more information, such as the previous expedition's logs and reports. Everything they sent back was lost when Central Knot City was destroyed. Now we've managed to restore some already, in fact. You can access them from a private room terminal or your cufflinks by selecting Archives. Might make for interesting reading.
Mm-hmm. How do I access my cufflinks? From here? Or? Okay. Mail. More than Oxy. Sam the man, our savior. Things are looking up here at the way station. Everything feels better somehow. We were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when we set ourselves up. The 3 years of isolation and loneliness will change anyone's tune. Hell, when we first got here, we were putting up signs for porters and whatnot, but after a while, some guys got too scared and even set foot outside. When Central went up, I told myself this was it. America's done. Everyone was feeling it too, and the mood was just bleak. But then you waltzed in. I know what you're thinking at first. At first, I thought it was just the oxytocin too. But that's not it. Not all of it, anyhow. You gave us the glimmer of hope we needed by bringing us to the chiral network. We're back in the game now. Been thinking of putting up signs again. I don't know about that. Watchtowers too. Before long, we'll be opening up new delivery routes. Mark my words. It's still scary out there, though. All the oxy in the world won't help us deal with mules, let alone BTs. We shit ourselves every day, or every time we catch sight of one. What? We shit ourselves every time we catch sight of one and end up dropping half our equipment. Honestly, a part of me is still a little worried that we won't be able to keep it up. And that's why we need you, Sam. You're not scared of anything, right? I'm terrified. So go show us how it's done. Thumbs up. Okay. Is that my review? Sorry, Sam, bad news. Thanks for delivering those rare medals. Everyone at the distro center really appreciates you coming through for us. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you, though. That bike you saw outside, its battery's dead. You'll have to give it some juice if you want to use it. A bike! Only need to do it once, though. Auto charger should kick in after. Sorry if we got your hopes up, and I've got some more bad news for you, too. Oh, God. You see, different facilities have to work together, sharing materials so everyone gets what they need, and to make sure that everything that's produced gets put to proper use. That's why guys like you are so important. Without porters, the whole system falls apart. Whole world, even. Anyway, there's this guy, George Baton, over at the way station. Isn't that the previous guy? He used to be a reliable porter, but lately it's like pulling teeth getting him to make even the simplest delivery. Keeps about being scared or not having enough oxy or whatever. Always some excuse. What's the oxy for? Even when he does agree to make a run, he's liable to lose half his load en route. So that's why we're a bit short on materials at the moment. I'm sure you'll help us put that to rights. We're counting on you. So okay. Data. Interviews. Bridge babies. Alright. This will help me remember. Look, I'm kind of new here at Bridges, so I don't know if any of this will be useful to you. Still, I'm happy to talk about BBs if that's what you want. They call me Dead Man on account of my familiarity with the dead. Get it? We've always been on good terms, you see. We used to have regular little chats back when I worked in the morgue. Anyway, that's also the reason I work on BB maintenance and research, to learn more about those who are no longer with us, but I digress. Fact is, BBs were already being issued to our forces on the field before I joined Bridges. What's more, research into the little guys had already been conducted long ago, but no one took the plunge and put what they'd discovered to practical use. Oh. Where is that? Where was I? Still, what that did mean is that when Bridges wanted to build our own BBs, most of the work has already been done for us. We just needed to follow the instruction manual, so to speak. Which isn't to say that we have any idea how they work. This isn't telling me anything. Not how they can detect BTs or how they can connect this world to the other side. We still have much to learn about our little friends, but one thing is certain, their continued study will lead us to greater understanding of the Stranding, and of life and death itself. That much I can assure you. Well, I think that's about all I'll have to tell you today. Hopefully I'll have something new to share. That doesn't tell me anything. What do you mean? Cryptobiotes. They're named for the process of cryptobiosis, which means a hidden life. Whatever. I want to know about the baby. I thought this said mules and Down syndrome. Learned that BB is short for bridge baby. Alright. That makes sense. What is BT then? Bridge terrors? Timefall was first recorded when the Death Stranding occurred, and despite all the years that have passed since then, we are no closer to understanding how or why it accelerates the passage of time for the objects and organisms it touches, or why it immediately turns to ordinary water having done so. Some researchers have gone as far as to posit this process as stealing time. As for why timefall is observed only in certain places, all we know for certain is that it is somehow affected by local chiral concentrations. This is merely a hunch, but something in me suspects that the Death Stranding may have warped our perception of the passage of time. Not... What? Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, you understand. We humans can conceive of our own deaths and even of the possibility of a place beyond death, yes? We have the capacity to conceptualize the future, an evolutionary advantage which aided our development as a species. Well, what if timefall has given us a new, supercharged version of this essential ability? One that will take us to the next stage of our evolution. Perhaps we wouldn't need to hole ourselves up in the not cities. Perhaps in time the Death Stranding will come to be seen as a phenomenon that saved our species. Exciting thoughts, I'm sure you'll agree. I, for one, can't wait to set out on our journey. Who knows what awaits us? Huh? Huh? Okay. Have we seen Hartman? The corals of the sea. Life began in the oceans, and as it evolved and it graduated to the land, at least this is what was believed until recently. To creatures of the sea, the land is a harsh and unforgiving place. Given this, what could possibly have compelled these organisms to make such a drastic transition? Consider that fossils of the first fish to adapt themselves to land have been found in regions with unusually large tidal range. Could it be that these creatures developed legs in order to more swiftly return to the safety of the sea when stranded? Could their evolutionary leap have been triggered by this traumatic experience? If so, could similar circumstances have shaped the evolution of the coral-like organisms that inhabit the sea and driven them to develop an ability to live between life and death, between time and timelessness? Coral is, after all, older than any organism of the land, and hardly enough to have weathered the mass extinction, and hardy enough to have weathered the mass extinction of 540 million years ago. And it is a life form upon which many other organisms rely for survival. Bearing all this in mind, one could argue that the ability to survive in the sea is indicative of a profound evolutionary leap. Okay. Okay. I think Hartman's the one with like the British accent, but I don't remember seeing him. Was he when we met the president? Okay. So, oh.
Sam, we've received a distress call from the distro center staff.
Oh.
Check the order on the delivery terminal as soon as you're ready.
It's one thing after the other. Alright. Is today a hat day? It's a sunglasses day. Can I wear sunglasses and hat? Yeah. All right. Check on BB. Hey, buddy, you ready? Soothe?
Tired, huh?
Aw. Poor little guy. Okay, let's go. Okay. Time for another hallucination of Mads.
Isn't what we agreed on? You said you'd do everything in your power to save BB.
We are. But we cannot release your son just yet. Believe me when I tell you it's for the best.
System woman in the mask who's done nothing but lie to me.
Can we look? A woman in a mask! Our thing looks like a... Wow! Oh.
Sam, out of curiosity, how's it doing at the moment?
Before I answer that,
Something wrong?
when I hook up my BB, I see things.
What kind of things?
Like a face, someone I don't know,
A
calling to
man.
me. There's this room, too, with other people talking, but I can't make out the words.
Bleed-through effect. Didn't I warn you about this? You're mistaking the BB's memories for your own. They're false flashbacks, nothing more.
I'm getting
Let me explain.
gaslit again.
A BB is harvested from its steel mother at around 28 weeks and placed in a pod. To be clear, this is before it's even born. The procedure halts its development. But even at 28 weeks, its sensory systems have matured enough to process external stimuli. It is more than capable of encoding this information into memories, which can bleed into yours via your connection.
So who's the man I saw?
Someone from the medical team, maybe? Or a BB technician? Does it matter? The BB has been in circulation for a while now. It's been handled by a lot of people. How should I know which one made an impression?
'Cause you're the expert.
No one's an expert, Sam. BBs were developed decades ago in secret. They're your quintessential black boxes. We may use them, but we don't truly understand them. Believe me, I've been trying to learn more, but almost all of the old records are gone. If I find anything out, I'll tell you, all right? Dead man's honor.
I mean, I feel like he should be taking this more seriously.
Check the delivery terminal and review the list of orders.
What's all this stuff I have on me? Oh, the materials. Can I recycle
While
materials?
you're resting, I ran some network diagnostics.
Oh gosh.
Beryllium monitoring and holographic systems are nominal. Unfortunately, our printer is offline.
What?
I know. After all the trouble you went through to bring us those materials. This one's on us. We ordered a part a while back, but it never arrived. The printer needs it to communicate with the chiral network.
Gosh, do I have to go back?
Mules must have snatched it, caught that porter on
I have to
route
go
or
to
something.
Mules.
If I'm right, they'll have taken it to their drop site, which is smack dab in the middle of their territory. Don't suppose you'd be up for stealing us our property back? Can't think of anyone more qualified than
I've
you.
never fired a weapon before. They look like they have weapons. Recycle. Metals. Yes. How do I get new shoes? Confirm. Kind of look like a superhero with these sunglasses.
Thank you for your continued support.
Mom! Yay. Okay. Fabricate equipment. Shoes? Unable to fabricate chiropractor interface could not be detected. Shoot, you're right. I have to go get a thing. collection chiral crystals. Okay. You're asking a lot of me. I don't even know if I can do this right now. Might have to be a tomorrow thing. Accept.
Mama's added a watchtower schematic to your PCC.
Ooh.
If you don't have it on you, consider fabricating one. You never know when you'll need to recon an area.
A watch. I can't even break that. Load all on my back. Yeah. So all we have is an anchor and no ladders attached to suit. We have two climbing anchors. Jeez, what happens when we lose our shoes?
That thing you're holding is a crystal collector. Now, as the name suggests, it provides secure storage for any crystals you gather.
Those little hand things! Got it.
Allow me to describe your
Is this
origin.
Hartman?
Chiral crystals appear gold to the naked eye and are frequently found in formations resembling human handprints. Surrounding rocks and debris tend to float a few feet above the ground. And they are most commonly found in areas with high precipitation. Got all that? Rain,
I've seen
floating
them.
rocks, golden handprints. That's your trifecta. Look for these three things and you'll find the crystals.
They're kind of everywhere.
If you've been especially observant, then perhaps you already know where to look.
Hacking guy.
Thank you for your contribution.
What's this? A baby blessing? Get a like from BB. Did BB like this? BB looks happy. Aw, thanks! Eeeeee. Oh man, that was horrible.
Begin
What
the
is this?
scan. Have a pleasant journey.
What is this supposed to be? I'm gonna give everyone likes. How come there's only so little? Is nobody spamming it? Am I the only spammer? Oh, there's so many. Yeah. Okay. What is? No pee.
How you doing, Sam?
Do not urinate. Alright. Hold on. Let me get this straight. It told us, is that a bike? Yeah, but they said it doesn't have any power. So we were here, right? And then it was like, there's like places you can go. Like checkpoints en route. Did I skip the checkpoints? What is that person's name? Okay. I remember it was like, there's like 2 checkpoints that you can go to before getting to here. I didn't go to those checkpoints, did I? Wait. Alright, collect. What is this? Collect crystals here. And then I have to go here to steal something. Okay. What's that?
Sam, chiral crystals are pretty small. It'd be difficult to spot with the eye. I advise you use your orbital deck to point in the right direction. If you want to verify a wider area, though, you might consider the watchtower by sensors.
Oh. Build a watch. There's one right there. Yeah. What is this? Number of chiral crystals. Wait. They want me to build a watchtower right now? What's this? Ah, thanks, Ghost of Earth.
Almost there.
What destination? What destination are we approaching? Oh, here. We can build a watchtower right here. There's little warnings. I have to go back in there.
Nice.
Alright. Now... How do I throw my bath water on him? Why do I have so many PCCs? That's not what I want. Switch. Aha. Ugh. Right here. Is the BB getting stressed?
Construction complete.
Okay. What? What's that? I don't understand. What am I supposed to be doing? What is this? Southwest? Is it not north? Sandalweed? Is that for my shoes? Sandalweed. Okay, maybe I don't need to go all the way there. Maybe I'm supposed to go here. Yeah. That was close. I almost went back to the scary place. We're going home. No way, they're not here. Okay. That was scary. Your shoes are getting stressed, right? Creamy. Guys, my shoes. Can I turn this one in? I went the wrong way. Approaching destination. This is my destination? Do we turn in that one job then? Oh. When is displayed at delivery terminals, the icon at the bottom right of the delivery terminal means there's cargo in that facility's share locker. Oh. Okay. This means there's cargo here.
Scanning bridges
Right?
ID. Verifying ID. Clear. All weapons will remain locked until departure. All clear.
Right there?
Sam,
Porter
Pyro
Bridges.
crystal deliveries are a little different from the usual. The process is pretty simple, though. Access the delivery terminal and drop off any Cairo crystals you're carrying.
Uh-huh. Huh? Not this. I'm so lost.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Verifying ID. Decontaminating suit. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Sam Porter Bridges. Claim materials. Eh? What's this? What did he say about the chiral crystals? Recycled. Oh, okay. Delivery terminal, recycle. Got it. This UI. Yeah, I'm so lost. Oh. What? Uh-huh. Now what? Now what? Can only do 100 at a time, I guess.
Got some chiral crystals for us?
Yeah.
These crystals only form in places with elevated chiralium levels. Which makes me
Which is
wonder if
everywhere.
expanding the network had something to do with it. Damn, son. That is a lot of crystals. Maintenance and R&D will both get their fill, looks like.
What is it for? That's a lot of likes. Oh no, skip on. Carl Crafter. Container repair spray? Can we repair our boots? Oh, we can't, because it's all broken right now. Our crystals can now be used at all UCA affiliated facilities. The amount of materials that can be used at the distribution center was... Claim materials. Got it.
Excess Cairo crystals can be deposited at any facility. They'll be added to the stores held on site.
Can draw upon to fabricate equipment as needed. Got it. I'm getting so many achievements. To use this data, gain access to a level 2 or higher structure and select customized structure. Okay. Macho? Bridges guard Macho? Hologram data. Some of this facility's bandwidth has been shared with Sam. More structures can now be built within the chiral network area. Okay. I'm so lost. I don't know what I'm doing. You just gotta smile and nod and pretend you know what's going on. You've been awarded the title Skilled Handler. Continue to strive for greater recognition. I wonder if there's like better boots out there that help us not stumble around. Next.
Oh, before I forget, this is for you.
Wow, more cargo.
That's container repair spray for patching up cargo containers.
Ugh, cargo
Good for dealing with
containers.
timefall degradation and all that. Useful stuff if you and your cargo have been through the ringer. We've added it to your supplies list, so it's readily available if and when you need it.
Okay. But I don't need it. So can I leave it? X grenade. A capsule containing Sam's condensed bodily excretions collected when he uses the shower. It breaks open when thrown, releasing its contents into the atmosphere. Has a noticeable effect on BTs, although the only way to find out what the effect might be is to try it. Right click to aim, left click to throw. The harder you press left click, the further. How does it know I'm pressing hard? If you're using a keyboard, the longer you hold. Okay. Non-lethal anti-BT weapon. Got it. This is in my locker. I want this on me. Attached to my suit. Holy heck, it's huge! It was a little vial! Why is it so big? I'll take one on my tool rack. I'll confirm. Alright. Yep, bye. Oh.
There is a correlation between elevated corellium levels and increased crystal formation. This may well be the result of the network's expansion. You needn't worry though. Local chiral density is still within an acceptable range. If you find any more, be sure to collect it. You'll be well rewarded.
I have more to give too.
If you come into more chiral crystals, you can submit them at one of our facilities.
This whole game feels like a tutorial still. Why do I still feel like I'm in a tutorial?
Everything has its value. What we don't use as is can be broken down into components for R&D and other applications.
It's like everything feels like a tutorial, but I still understand nothing. Recycle these crystals. Where is it? All of it. What? What? Same? Are you just as lost as I am? This is horrible. I just looked at the time. Fabricate equipment, but I can't. I can't fabricate anything.
Thank you for
No.
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey.
We gotta go. There's so much still to do. I don't even have a ladder. What's that? What's this? The packages need to be delivered. I have no packages. I think we shall pick this up tomorrow. I am still having fun. It's just I don't know what's going on. And I thought that I would understand more when I read the data, Boy, was I wrong. Well, everybody, this VOD will be uploaded to YouTube in a few hours. Or 3-ish hours after stream ends. I will stream more tomorrow. I know, I'm sorry, but I gotta go eat. It's been 3 hours already. I hope you had fun. I did. I'm very motivated to keep playing. Even though I don't know what's going on, I'm still trying to understand. I also have no idea how the hecking combat works with the BTs and stuff. I'm gonna leave him in his room so that when we get on again, it'll be safe, you know? Maybe if we do another shower, we'll get more granadas. I'm glad I finally get to see this game. Have you been waiting for someone to stream it? His little weird beard facial hair pattern. I still need to figure out what to do about his boots too. Maybe they'll tell me when the first pair degrades fully. I really thought this game wasn't gonna be scary. But it is. And I can only handle so much. One encounter per day. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Wait, what day is it? Is it Tuesday or is it Wednesday? In which case I'll see you guys Monday. But if it's Tuesday, then I'll see you guys Wednesday. Alright. Bye. Take care. Good night. What's he doing? Oh, he wants to shower. Okay. He wants to shower. At least I can skip this one. Oh god, okay. Alright, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love you. Bye-bye.